Greetings to all Sierra Leoneans. This is lawyer Bakarr Kalokoh, barrister at law, senior member of the Sierra Leone Bar, and senior member of the All People's Congress Party. Today, I draw your attention to President Julius Maada Bio's constitutional instrument dated the first day of August 2018, setting up a commission of inquiry to look into sundry activities of the past APC-led government. Let me applaud the President and his team for moving along and making steady progress in their fight to thwart corruption in the homeland. I am sure that by the time this exercise ends, it shall serve as a precedent and blueprint for all successive governments to emulate. While setting up this commission of inquiry is praiseworthy, certain issues have left me pondering as to the bona fides of this president and his SLPP government regarding their so-called crusade against corruption. The constitutional instrument published on August 1st is beginning to force us, patriotic citizens, to suspect that the president and his government have complete disregard for due process, justice, and fair play. It baffles us in the All People's Congress that a president who in many pronouncements has reiterated his determination to promote fairness and justice is now doing his utmost to avoid legal scrutiny only so his government could easily punish, under the cloak of law, citizens he does not like, citizens who are not his tribesmen, or citizens who do not share his political views or ideology. Fellow citizens, again, I am worried. Why am I worried? Because paragraph 6, subparagraph 2 of the President's constitutional instrument stipulates that for the purpose of this instant commission of inquiry, and I quote, "The commission shall not be bound by the rules of evidence in civil or criminal proceedings," end quote. Let me first of all educate the Attorney General of this government that there are no special rules of evidence applicable only to criminal cases and another special set of evidentiary rules applicable to civil cases only. Rules of evidence are rules of evidence, period, regardless of the type of proceedings referenced. Every trial lawyer should know this. Perhaps a more fundamental gap in this constitutional instrument is the President's complete disregard for the provisions of Section 150 of the 1991 Constitution. That section reads, and I quote, "Subject to the provisions of this chapter, the rules of court committee shall, by constitutional instrument, make rules regulating the practice and procedure of all commissions of inquiry," end quote. So it is not up to you, Mr. President, to tell us citizens which rules should or shouldn't apply to commissions of inquiry you may set up. It is within the purview of the Rules of Court Committee, headed by the Chief Justice, to do so as delineated in Section 150 of the Constitution. Mr. President, as you have done several times since assuming the presidency, you are yet again attempting to flagrantly and deliberately disregard prescriptions stipulated in our supreme law for the sake of expediency and for your convenience and to serve your political goals. At this juncture, one would have expected your Attorney General to advise you properly as to the legal limits of your seemingly unfettered and absolute authority under Chapter 9 of the 1991 Constitution. I have said this in the past, Mr. President, and I will say it again. Ours is now a constitutional democracy, not a military regime. Consequently, you could not continue to govern our country by issuing edicts, decrees, or orders at will. No matter your designation, you are under the law and you must remain under the law. You have no choice but to allow the Rules of Court Committee to set the rules of engagement prior to the commencement of this commission of inquiry. Should you insist on proceeding as such, we will see you in the Court of Appeals. Unless and until you refer evidentiary and procedural issues to the Rules of Court Committee, I urge all well-meaning Sierra Leoneans to ignore your decree regarding the non-applicability of rules of evidence simply because you have overreached and exceeded your constitutional mandate. By attempting to prescribe rules of evidence in this Commission of Inquiry, Mr. President, you and your government are deliberately continuing to trample upon the fundamental rights of your own citizens. To the Attorney General, please remember that due process has always been a part of Sierra Leone's jurisprudence, tracing its origin far back to English common law. As far back as 1215, the Magna Carta, which is the foundation of modern due process and justice, states in Clause 39, and I quote, "No free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights or possessions or outlawed or exiled or deprived of his standing in any other way, nor will we proceed with force against him or send others to do so except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land." End quote. Mr. President, your government is on the verge of punishing citizens, taking away their properties or restricting their liberty without according them due process and fairness. You must be condemned for attempting to do so. Citizens must speak up and stop your unnecessary onslaught on democracy and justice. I want to assure you, as I've always done, that we support your fight against corruption, but only to the extent that the process is fair, transparent, non-threatening, non-political, and devoid of vengeance. We in the All People's Congress will always stand behind you for so long as you put the national interest front and center of your governing philosophy. We wish you the best, and long live the people of Sierra Leone.